Hey everybody, this is Kevin from Fort Orange Woodworking. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing the Drillmate portable drill accessory from Milescraft. Now, I already have a benchtop drill press, but it is a little heavy and it's a little clumsy, so there are times where I feel like a smaller drill press would probably be a better option. These go for about $40 currently online and are also available at most big box stores. So let's go ahead and run some tests and see if the Drillmate from Milescraft is worth adding to your collection. Let's check it out. Okay, so I've already removed the plastic. And again, this is the Drillmate from Milescraft. It's a portable drill stand. And inside, set this packaging aside. Inside we've got a set of instructions. The drill stand itself, the base, the handle, and the attachment pieces. Let's go ahead and put this thing together. Okay, so let's take a look at the parts real quick. First of all, we have the main base. Then we've got the head, which moves up and down. We also have the spindle shaft, which is what your drill will attach to and allows it to move the chuck. We've got this spring that controls the head. We've got this handle for support, and we've also got this tightening lever, which they call a stop collar. That makes sense. This is the stop collar. You can tighten that to make sure that you don't go any deeper than you want. You have some adjustable angles here. The arms adjust from 45 to 90 degrees. And I'm going to check this out at some point, but they also say that this base is self-centering. So if you're moving around a piece, depending on the width of it, it can be self-centering. Let's go ahead and attach our drill and see how easily this works. Okay, so for the first test, I just have the drill press set up with my standard cordless drill. My first impressions of it is I was worried that it was going to topple over with the drill on it, but it is pretty stable. It's sturdy enough to hold the weight of the drill even when it's offset with the battery in the back. I've got a piece of oak. Oh, there it goes. No, not quite. So it does need a little bit of stabilization. I've got this piece of oak that is 2.5 by 3/4, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a drill bit in here and see how smooth it drills a hole straight down. So let's go ahead and try that. Oh, it is tipping over a little bit. Got to be careful of that. So let's go ahead and try that. Okay, so I have a Forstner bit, putting it in here with the chuck, secured it with the chuck key, and I'm figuring out that why this is toppling over is because 2.5 inches is too wide for this jig accessory, whatever you want to call it, to use the self-centering function. It will work for pieces up to about 2 3/8 wide, but anything wider than that, you will not be able to use that self-centering function. Oh, unless of course, there we go. All right, so if we put the workpiece inside, then it'll work. So I take that back. We now have up to 3.5 inches. All right, so let's try that. I got my piece of oak. I've got it on top of the base. This makes a lot more sense. This is much more secure. It's not toppling over. Let's go ahead and just turn this to see if it does meet at the halfway mark. Let's go ahead and try it. I'm not going to set the collar depth right now. I'm just going to freehand this one. Okay, that was pretty comfortable. One of the reasons why I like to use my drill instead of my drill press is because my drill press is kind of cheap, it's weak, and a lot of times my drill is much better suited for putting holes in denser woods like oak. My drill press tends to smoke and burn even if I use the same bit, just because it's not powerful enough. Let's go ahead and check the center on this. So this is a 2.5 inch board, just short, and our mark, our hole here is just shy of 1 1/4, so this is in fact centered. So that worked pretty well. The hole is clean, there was no smoke. I felt like I was in control of this thing the whole time. Let's go ahead and change this so that we can use the angle function. So to do that, I'm just going to loosen up these top screws here on the bars, and then I can move this to where I want it. You know what, I'm going to take the drill off so I don't send my drill crashing. Let's move this to 45. Tighten this back up. 45 is the lowest setting for the angled function. Put this back on my workpiece. Use my handle when I need it. Put my drill back on. Tighten that up. Now let's see if we can put a 45-degree hole into this piece of oak. Now again, I'm gonna make a mark and see how close I can put it right on that mark. So let's put an X right here. Let's see if we can get that to go right on the X. And I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see how that works. Alright, so for the 45-degree hole, I didn't feel nearly as comfortable as I did with the 90. I'm assuming that there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve on this, and I'm going to have to play with this quite a bit to see how I would make those 45-degree angle drill holes if I wanted to, but that first run wasn't terribly comfortable, so I'm guessing that might be part of the learning curve. I'm going to go ahead and set this back up to 90. Okay, so I'm going to give this angle drilling one more go because I want to give it a fair chance. Now again, I am using a Forstner bit, but it is a small one, so it's kind of representative of a drill bit. I've got it set at 45 again, and this time I've got a sheet of plywood, which is nice and secure. And let's assume that wherever this is going, that's where our mark is going to be. So I've got a little divot here, little pencil mark, And let's try see if we can set this up again so that maybe it'll work with a bigger piece of material. So I am just guiding this in, putting my hole right on my mark, and let's see if this will work. Okay, so that worked out much better. I believe that the reason why the 45 was so difficult to use on the first test is because the workpiece was just too small for that function, so that angle drill might be better off with your bigger jobs. Now, before we wrap this up, I do want to point out a couple of other features for this thing. For one, we talked about the self-centering jig. It also has a small amount of space underneath, about maybe a little more than a 1/4 inch, so you could put thinner workpieces under if you wanted to drill from above. It also has grooves in the base so that you can drill dowels. Now I don't have a dowel nearby, but let's say this pencil was a dowel. I could drill into this dowel without it moving around because of these grooved slots here in the base. Okay, so let's talk pros and cons. One of the features that I didn't get to show you, although I pointed it out, is the use of this collar stop. Now, this is a little bit of a pro and a con, which is why I'm starting here. Pro, it has a collar stop. So if I want to stop at a particular depth, I can. Con, however, is that there's no measurements or markings on this bar anywhere, so it is entirely up to me to decide where I need that workpiece to stop, or where I need this drill to stop so I don't go through my workpiece or stop short. So that's a little bit of a pro and con. Now, some of the other cons are that this is going to be limited to the power of your drill. So if you have a very good drill press, this probably isn't going to be up to the same level. Now, if you've got a cheap one like me that doesn't seem to get the job done when I need it to, this is going to actually be more powerful. As far as how stable it's going to be, that's a different story. So my benchtop drill press is definitely more stable. That's a little bit of a con on this, but that is what you trade off when you add in portability, and it's lightweight. So that's definitely one of its pros. It's portable. It's lightweight. Am I going to use this all the time? I don't know. But it's going to be neatly stored out of the way, taking up very little space until I need it. So that is definitely a pro. Lightweight, portable, easy to use, doesn't cost a whole lot. I think it's going to be a nice addition to my workshop. You can feel free to go ahead and tell me what you think. Do you already have one? How do you like it? Are you thinking of getting one? Are you more likely to get it now? If you buy one, go ahead and try it out. Tell me what you think. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you next time in the shop. Thanks, everyone. Take care.